All right. Shalom. Yahweh Barakatah, Yahweh Kad, Barakatah, Yahweh, Barakatah, Yahweh, Barakatah, Yah. Peace and blessings to everyone out there. Just gonna be a short lesson. My thoughts on a couple scriptures in the New Testament. And just for clarification, I'm an objective kind of person. So, no, I don't think because these two scriptures um, are contradictions that means Jesus doesn't exist. That has nothing to do with the topic that I'm trying to bring out or the points that I'm trying to bring out. So, um, without further ado, give me a second. I'm trying to figure this StreamYard stuff out. I'm checking, see if I can be heard. 1 second. Let me see if I can be heard. Um, Sorry for this StreamYard stuff
Yep,
out.
I can be heard.
Checking, see if I
Okay.
can be heard. 1 second. I can be heard. So, without further ado, let me share my screen. Share. Share screen. See application window. Uh, Trying to share. You know what? We're just gonna do it like this. I'll just share one thing at a time. So first, I would like to go to this right here. Acts chapter 9, verse 7, out of the KJV. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. Now let's compare that to Acts chapter 22. Shit. Sorry. Let's compare that to Acts chapter 22 and verse 9. Okay. Because to me, it sounds like a contradiction. You know, Acts chapter 22, verse 9. And it reads out of the KJV. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. So, in one instance, we see that people heard, but they did not see, right? Let me make it bigger. There we go. Sorry about that. So, I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to go back to sharing, right? Because, okay, your entire screen. Okay, here we go. So, in one instance, we see here. Let me pull this back up, right? Let's go back so we can compare side by side since I figured it out. We got Acts chapter 9, and then we go to verse 7, right? As soon as it loads, we're going to go to verse 7. And Acts 22 and verse 9 read different. They contradict one another, right? Now, as we see here in Acts 9, verse 7, the men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. Why did they stand there speechless? Because they heard the sound but did not see anyone. Let's get that out of the KJV. Nobody likes the NIV for whatever reason, which I think is more accurate, but whatever. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. Acts 22, verse 9. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. Okay, so if one was to say that, oh, they were blind and deaf, or excuse me, deaf, okay, Spiritually blind, spiritually deaf. Okay, no problem. The word for hear is to hear, to listen. Right? Can't pronounce that. Don't know Greek like that. But it looks like aku or akuo, right? Akuo, like acoustic, right? Says, I hear, I listen, I comprehend by hearing, I pass, right? It is heard, it is reported. Properly to hear, listen. Figuratively, to hear God's voice with prompts, which prompts him to birth faith within. That is a definition you see 191. It also says C 189. Let's see 189 real quick. Let's see what's in 189, right? But 191 is also a primitive root. It says hearing, the sense of hearing, hearing, the sense of hearing, hearing, faculty of hearing, ear, report, rumor. Properly hearing used of inner spiritual hearing that goes with receiving faith from God, i.e., spiritual hearing, discerning God's voice. So they spiritually did not hear, as it states. Let me see, is it Acts 9 and 7 or is it Acts 22? Acts 22, right? And read again. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. So they saw the light, but they didn't hear it. They didn't what? Comprehend it, right? Is that what that says? 189. Uh, hearing inner, excuse me, hearing used of inner or spiritual hearing that goes with receiving faith from God. So they didn't receive faith from God, but they saw the light, right? Let's see what seeing is metaphorically, right? To behold, look upon, I see, I behold, I contemplate, I look upon, I view, I see, I visit. Discerning God's voice, right? Says to gaze at a spectacle, properly gaze on, contemplate as a spectator, to observe intently, especially to interpret something, grasp its significance, to see, concentrate on, so as to significantly impact or influence the viewer. So if God is influencing you, right? If something is influencing you, when you wouldn't that like when you have a little faith in that, you know, if you're influenced by it, you've been convinced by it. You have faith in it now. Convinced, believe, faith, all the same thing. All the same thing. I'm convinced by, I have faith by, I believe, etc. Same thing. So, having pointed this out, I don't think I need to go any further with that. All praises to Yahweh. Shout out to Torah Knights. You know, shout out to all the brothers that are seeking truth. All believers of God seeking truth wholeheartedly, not seeking biases. And with that, Yahweh Barakatah, Yahweh Barakatah, Yahweh Barakatah, Yahweh Akkad. Shalom.